Mick Conlon, how are you, brother?
What's happening, Tommy Boy?
String Ninjas, but string fucking
Yeah,
represent.
always on brand. Always on brand. You know, I know. Actually, I was raging. I missed your last trip up to Belfast because I've been promising you a T-shirt.
Oh,
but,
don't you worry. As of
but that was about a year ago, actually. Oh no, you did the Hatfield, didn't you?
I did the Hatfield, but as of this morning, chatting with young Jedis, I am back up there in the limelight on the 18th. Yeah.
Hold on, what day's that?
It's a fucking Friday. Yeah.
Oh, here I'm not. Oh, am I gigging? Here, I've had very few gigs in 5 months, so that would be just my luck. Because I've missed like three gigs because of work. I've had no work. Like, Geddes did his thing in his office, and he messaged me and he says, "Hey, do you want to come?" And I went, "Yeah, I'd love to." And I checked with the other ninja, and he was like, "Nah, Mick, we have a wedding that night." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." Seriously? What? People getting married, how selfish. So.
Yeah, I did a gig for the 2 nights in the Hatfield. I got offered on the Wednesday night I was doing as well. And both Tuesday and Wednesday, I got offered fucking gigs in Galway and Cork. I mean, not a fucking sniff of a gig for 5 or 6 months.
Oh.
The 2 nights I had gigs, and it's like, oh, you bastards. You bastards.
Bro. It happens.
But things are kind of firing back up, though, for you a bit, aren't they?
I don't know, man. There's rumours that Boris has this new line. He's calling it the Rule of Six. And yeah, I know. I was like, what is this? Like, are we in Constantine or something? What's going on here? So I don't really know. I stopped listening to the news about 3 months ago because it was just so many mixed messages. I mean, they don't know their arse from their elbow, and it's like, stay away. Here's 50% off your food.
Yeah.
Come on, like, I mean, it's been shambolic, and it's like you haven't been responsible enough, and you're like, you just encouraged everybody to spend a month in restaurants.
Oh my Jesus Christ! Like
dog shites. So,
but I don't think it does Northern Ireland fall under the same fucking madness that goes on over there? I mean,
well, yeah.
Can Stormont not go? Can you fuck off, lads? With sort, you know. I know. Now I just got really deep, like 3 minutes.
Did you just realize what you said there?
I just got really, really fucking stupid 3 minutes into the podcast. I went, could Stormont not?
The thing about Stormont is, like, they haven't been working really. They haven't been at work for a couple of years now, and then they went back to work because they had to go back to work because of the pandemic, and somebody needed to decide what the crack was. So they basically, what was happening was everything you did down south, we ended up doing like a week later, or every time Scotland did something, we'd do something a week later. There was none of this, right, this is the way we're going to go. I'm sure they just got a pay raise because apparently they've had extra stress on their shoulders. I know, and I'm like, here, hold on a second. Clap for the NHS. Give them your money. Not
unreal. Like, why did we bother our whole trying to get good at an art of any sort, Mick? Why didn't we just go into politics? Like,
it's funny you should say that, actually, because like I don't know what it's like with arts down south, but see up here, trying to get any money off the Arts Council. I remember reading a story. British arts have been given £1.3 billion or something like that, and I was like, that's all well and good. We'll see none of it.
None of it.
We'll see none of it. Well, the thing is, they don't even consider comedy to be an art. But we'll not. That's a load of crap. You know, I mean, like, I was but I was like, can you open up a theatre and let someone do like a one-man show or something? Or sorry, a one-woman show in the you know, diversity and all that there. But you know, because in a theatre, obviously you can. I don't want to be pissing off your viewers, but like, you know, in a theatre, you can control an environment like that. You know, separate the seats, and generally people aren't louts when they when they go to the bar and get hammered. You know, drinks in, wits out, kind of a thing. So I was like, but would it not make more sense to do stuff like that? And you know, because all this money they're pulling out of their hole, you know, with furlough schemes, that money doesn't exist anyway. So just keep the places shut. I pay the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking, like, it's madness down here in that there's a 50 people limit, but that 50 people limit applies to a place the size of the Hatfield and a place the size of the Board Gosh, which holds about 3,000 or 4,000. Like I was actually talking with a theatre in Limerick today, and they have an 1,100 seater, and they're being pinned to their collar for 50 people.
Jesus Christ.
There's six entrances into the auditorium, you know, and you're going, lads, Jesus. But I mean, I was only angry on their behalf, and they've like 40 people working in the theatre, really hungry workers, like, and they're just going, could you all just fuck off? We'll regulate it ourselves properly. You know what I mean? But
100%.
That's the fucking dose you're dealing with. I love you're rocking a mohawk these days, Mick. I like that.
Well, it's a bit shorter. I had it tidied, but yeah, I'm like a poor man's Zangief from Street Fighter. But snake the red hot pants. But yeah, no, I fancied it. It was one of those things like everyone was doing these weird lockdown haircuts and stuff, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm just because the thing, like, my hair grows at a ridiculous rate anyway. So I was like, do you know what? If I cock it up, what I'll just do is I'll just shave the hawk. I'll have a shaved head literally for a week. Like I got this done a week ago. This was, I don't know if you can see, this is a 0, like all the way down.
Oh, geez, you're up to nearly a 2 now at this stage.
Do you know what I mean? I'm full of testosterone.
Fucking bursting out here.
Yeah, but it was really funny because when I first got it done properly at the barbers, and the barbers opened up about 2 months ago, we were to play a music festival, but it was a pre-record kind of a thing because they couldn't have a crowd. And so I went to my barber's the day before the shoot to get it done, and he was saying, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, oh, I'm playing this music festival, bit of a family thing. And when he finished my haircut, he was like, Mick, God help the children who are watching you, because you're the most, because me standing with a violin and a serious face and a hawk and a big beard, it's not exactly Blue Peter material, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hear, no, do you know what it is? Everybody seems to like it. So I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't care if nobody liked it, but it obviously is a bonus. So I'm thinking about keeping it.
But you look after the beard and everything, don't you? You do look after your beard.
Yeah, I do. We actually, it's really funny. We were playing a gig about a year or so ago, and Gavin, he's an even bigger beard than me, but he's bald and covered in tats. So we're a very welcoming pair to see. But we were playing a gig, and this guy came up to us, and he's like, oh, I love your stuff. By the way, I own a company that makes beard grooming products. I'm like, oh, very good. And then so he gave us a couple of wee bottles of some beard oil. And then he was like, would you like to be brand ambassadors? And I went, what? And he went, yeah, brand. I was like, hold on a second. Am I actually an influencer then? Is that what I am actually an influencer? So I'm contractually obliged to keep the beard. I actually went, when I got my hair done last week, my barber was tidying up, and I was like, to see wearing a mask, it's such a pain with a beard, because what happens is I'll show you again, Brandon. But like, if you see, when I put a mask on, what happens is I can't cover my mouth and my nose at the same time, so it ends up, So I know I look really scared on it.
That is the most mental thing ever. A beard sticking out the fucking bottom of the mouth.
I know. So I just said to my barber, I was like, Kevin, do me a favour, man. Just take a chunk off the bottom just so it sits better. And he went, no worries, Mick. And he went to touch, and I went, stop! Don't touch it. Because I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, no, I've been growing this properly for a year and a half now. I've had a beard like over the years, but the last year and a half I've been committed to grooming.
A beard brand ambassador. You're like the fucking ZZ Top of Belfast now at this stage.
Yeah, man, I'm not even joking. Cheap plug, beardybeardco.com. They're called the Beardy Beard Co. I swear to God, man.
We are the Boaty Boat Pictures.
I know, bro. Use the code Ninja20 for 20% off. I'm not even shitting you. It's a true story. It's weird as hell. Yeah, so I'm going to keep it. I don't give a damn. If I lead the single life forever, I don't care, because I'm happy with it. So,
but yeah. you do you, Mick. That's the thing. You do you.
Exactly, Tom. Exactly. And you're still rocking that Hulk Hogan.
I don't know what's going on. I there's so many times I'm going, well, I just go right Ned Flanders altogether and just nip it down to, because I've had a proper Ned Flanders before. I had to do it for an ad for the Football Association of Ireland, and I keep on thinking back to going, oh, I look like an absolute fucking pervert. I could not be lit anywhere with that fucking thing. But
bro, have you ever? Do you know the Twizzlers mustaches? There's a guy that manages a restaurant in Belfast. We've played there a couple of times. Really nice fella. His name's Alex, and he literally has one of those twirly ones. And every time I see him, I'm just like,
There's
I can't take my eyes off this mustache. Really handsome dude, just with this thing.
How long would it be if you stretched his one out now, just out of interest, you reckon? Would it be 4
I reckon easy like that. Easy.
Jesus.
It curls up, and he's just got this little... He looks like... Hugh Jackman in that film where he was a magician?
Yes, yeah,
That kind of yoke he has going on. Yeah, it's very impressive.
This is a mate of mine, and what's even more impressive, he's a professional boxer. Spike O'Sullivan is his name, from Cork.
Okay.
Have a look at Spike's fucking moustache. He's got a perfectly good round head. You know those good shaved heads, like Jason Statham round. You know, but he started growing a moustache, and now a beard oil company actually again very same start to sponsor him. The thing is, he can do a full fight and get punched in the face for 12 rounds, and his fucking mustache does not move. That's what the biggest impression. Like I'm looking, going, how in the what are you putting in that shit? But if he pulled it out, now it'd be like 3 inches either side. But he looks like the old Queens of Knott's rules looking, you know that?
Yeah, 100%.
He looks the part when he does it, like, and he knows exactly what he's doing, but fucking hell, man.
There was a point during lockdown where, I don't know if there was this thing that was going on around the internet of people like, guys with beards don't need to wear masks, and here's why. Because if you push your beard up, put glasses on, it covers. I think actually, I showed you. I think I was on one of the
you did the Royal Rumbles. Yeah.
And my beard was here on my right up the tip of my nose.
Impressive.
Now it's just at my lip, because I had to tidy it up. But it was crazy. It's just like that, full on. And then as I say, so masks were always a problem. So when I would go to the shops, I wouldn't wear a mask. I'd wear a balaclava. But then, I know, sorry. Yes, I am from Ardoyne, and I have never been involved in any kind of activity. But the thing is, so I'd get the balaclava, but then I'd pull the top of it back over, so then it would cut, my whole thing was covered, and then my beard wouldn't be bothering me, and it would, so that's the only way I could be. But the thing about it is, though, with a mohawk, and the balaclava also has a skull and crossbones on it. And then I'm standing in the queue waiting to get in the Tesco, just with my arms folded, because I'm bored, just waiting. And I've usually got my earphones in, listening to a podcast. Maybe it'll be I only really listen to comedy podcasts. So, sitting there with a shrugging of the shoulders, just laughing away, and people looking at me going, "Is he demented?"
This fucking mental case.
And I'm a big dude, like I'm 6 foot and 20 stone, so you know what I mean. It's a sight, like, definitely.
And then you turn around and go, hello, yes, I'm a professional violin player.
But that's the thing, but you do have to do that. I found that. Because people's facial expressions have been, like, you can't see them anymore. You do, like, have to be over nice, like, with your eyes, and, almost like gesturing with your hands that you're trying to be friendly, because people do just look generally, you can't see anything at all anymore. I had a guy actually come up to me in Belfast on Thursday night last week, 3 guys, and because they're wearing masks, I thought he said Michael, my name, for a start, and I went, "Oh, hello," and he was like, "We're going to a meeting to talk about God. Would you like to join us?" And God's honest truth, mate, I just turned around to him and I went, "Mate, I'm away to a Colin Geddes gig to hear dick jokes. I'm busy. See you later." I swear to God. But I only stopped to talk to him because if I had seen his face, I would have known I didn't know him. I would have had no interest. But because I couldn't see, I was like, "Oh, maybe I do know him," because I thought he said my name. But yeah, maybe so I was like, "Nah, man, I'm away here, dick jokes. See you later." Enjoyed your night about Jesus.
Do you know what? It is funny what you say. Like I kind of always noticed, but especially now with the fucking moustache, and I've got a mullet growing out the end, and most of my attire tends to be real tree hunting camo, like. And I noticed of late, and it's the moustache and the hunting camo, fucking, and the hair must be adding to it. And people's
makes the outfit.
People's heightened level of awareness. And I got out of the fucking Jeep the other day, and it was only just going across to the petrol station. I didn't have a mask on or anything because I was just walking in before I put it on. And my missus noticed. She goes, "Did you not see how those 3 people completely avoided you? They took one look at you, thought, militia written. That cunt has come down out of the mountains, and he's carrying a weapon."
He's like, an AR-15 in the glove box. That's it.
But I was kind of going, excuse me, who do you think I am? Like, and she's got, John, for fuck's sake, have a look at yourself in that window. Just have a fucking look at yourself. And then took their point. We're like, oh, valid point.
It's like when Mike Tyson looks like the craziest motherfucker in the world, and then he opens his mouth, and you're like, Jesus Christ! Thank God you can fight, man.
It's funny because you say that because you listen to somebody for so long you forget their voice is like that. And I was listening to Rogan the other day and he was on with him or whatever, and ironically Miley Cyrus had been on previous and she had a way deeper voice than Mike Tyson or whatever. But you're like, how many fags has that young one smoked?
I know that's a 40 John Player a day habit.
Is it what? Super Kings, I'd say. Fucking Super Kings, bitch.
I remember once smoking. I don't know if you had them down south. When I remember smoking a Woodbine, which is a filterless.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Farmers' fags, pure brutes of fuckers. Yeah. There was another one. They were called Players. Players. They should have continued with them and called them Players forevermore. But it was like and the same
100%.
thing. Filterless, fucking horrendous fucking things. But it was herself had walked into the kitchen the other day and she was like, who the fuck is that on the... I said, that's Mike Tyson. She went, fuck off. There is no way. I said, swear to God. She goes, what's wrong with him? Has he been in an accident or something? I'm like, well, he's been in a lot of accidents, but she goes, Jesus Christ, he sounds like an infant or something. The way he speaks. But she's like, yeah, that's the scariest fucking human on the fucking planet. Are you joking me? Like, he's... But that is interesting. That when you said like about running into the lads that talked about fucking meeting God or off to see God or talk about God or whatever. Well, one thing I had noticed that like there's a wild irreverence in a lot of people, my friends from Belfast, like the likes of yourself, there's coming almost an anti to that vibe. But then still in this day and age, there's still lads on a Friday night tipping off to talk about God. You're like, well, how has this? Where the fuck were ye hiding doing your God talk? And how did the boys end up going this way? Like, do you think it's got? You know what I mean? There's almost a fucking hard fuck off to that kind of vibe.
To be fair, I feel that those religious people are of a certain age and of a certain social status.
Right.
They're not working class.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like it's really funny actually. Actually, my mum actually said this to me today. We were talking about how, like, kid like growing up in Belfast during the Troubles and kids growing up now not knowing like what it was like and stuff. And she said to me, "Oh, do you remember your friend Sarah who lived in this? It's a posh part of Belfast." And she said, she'd never seen a Saracen. And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." So for a Saracen is like a souped up. It's like a tank, but with like speed. Basically, it's a tank on wheels. And like during the 80s and 90s, like there'd be Saracens just every time it's a riot, Saracens would be coming in, bombs. It was mad crack. But I always remember seeing them, and she said, "Oh, do you remember your friend?" And I went, "Oh yeah." But then she was from Money, so she grew up in Belfast at the same time I grew up in Belfast, but she never saw the stuff I saw, and we lived a mile apart.
Fuck, only a mile?
No, literally. You like see the whole Troubles were bad, but end of the 90s, it started to tone down. But the only thing you ever saw in the news, there's like out of 100 streets, one street had a burning car. That's where CNN went. Do you know what I mean? No, it's probably my street. But that's why, like, you may not know this on when you see like on TV when car insurance adverts come on, it'll always say at the bottom, there's a little asterisk, excludes Northern Ireland.
What?
Yeah, because what people were doing was getting their cars. Every time there was a riot, there was people volunteering the cars, going here, fucking have it. Because you get better money off the insurance. Caravans, take it all. Don't give a shit. Here, burn it. I don't care. I need a new car. Daddy needs a new Punto. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so it's just
fun times.
But the likes of quite religious, that shit just kind of stuck around for wealthy people, really. But I never like.
Feels that way.
Yeah, it was growing up. Like I talking with the boys about it, and I remember myself and Mickey had a deep and meaningful talk one night that we were both very drunk in Galway. I was going, man, I didn't know anything about even religion was like fourth most important thing in society because it was sports, local sports, then it was work, and then it was drinking, and then people would often the odd time pop to mass, and even the local priest was like, "Here lads, we have to wrap this up because there's a game up in the field." You know what I mean? It wasn't top of the list at all. It was like,
I know.
Then when chatting with Mickey, he was like, "Oh, Jesus, man, some people are just so staunch about it." It's like, is it just a team then? Is that what it is? Is it just, I'm on this team, you're on that team? You know what I mean? Was that the vibe?
Yeah. Well,
you know?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I mean, like, the religion thing up here was always mad because it's like, people, like, just, it's so funny because Catholics and Protestants, you're both Christian.
Yeah.
But why is one oppressing the other? One's oppressing the other because one has 2 extra lines in the Lord's Prayer. And that's it. That is it. They have 2 extra lines because Darryl Breen did a bit about it. That's probably his most famous bit, was the mixed marriage thing. And that's true. Like, I've been to mixed marriages, and all the Catholics do go at the end. What?
You're still going.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird. But it's one of those things. I think from our generation, like me and Mickey and people like that there, who, like, we're all in our 30s, grew up at a time where, because it was used as a divisive thing, then we went to school, got educated, learned about the thing, and went, right, okay. It may be bullshit, it may not be, but I tell you what, it's not that important to me. I can make it without it. I think there's a lot of people like that who are going, when the kids are born, I'll get a christening to keep them all happy, or, I kind of way, or I'll get his confirmation because then other people can give it money. I don't have to, I kind of way. So there's definitely that aspect to it. But I did a church wedding there. If HMRC are watching, no, I didn't. But I did a church wedding about 2 weeks ago. And it was the first church wedding I had done in 5 years. Because we primarily get booked for alternative weddings, for, what's it called? Humanist weddings and things like that there. I should know, I do it for a living. But, like, it's all about, because, like, especially Catholic Church being so dogmatic, and, like, you have to play hymns, you have to do this, you have to do that. So we get booked for, like, we did a wedding last year, 2 girls. One walked down the aisle to Harry Potter's Hedwig theme, and the other one walked down the aisle to the Imperial March from Star Wars. That was what we had to play, But
that's weird, because we had Hedwig's theme, like, playing in the middle of our wedding, and it was a churchy wedding. But then again, it was a priest from home that came up and went, "Grand, I love all this music."
Yeah. There you go, man. It does depend. I think there's just some, especially up north again, where they're like, well, we have to hold on to it, kind of a thing. You're like, get over yourselves, will you? I remember doing the last church wedding before that, which was 5 years ago, was my best friend's wedding. And I went to the church before everybody arrived, and I was just warming up. And I was playing something, I don't even remember what it was. But it wasn't a religious piece. It wasn't an Irish piece. Something. It might have been like a gypsy piece, like one of those show tunes that I like to play. And the Eucharistic minister came out and shouted at me. He's like, "What? You can't play that in here." Yeah, you can't play that in here. Father, whatever the hell his name was, will not be happy that you've played that. And I was like, "Mate, no offense, but see when the priest says, 'Please be seated,' and then go in peace, love and serve the Lord." During that, it actually has to be sacred. See, outside of it, I could play Slayer, and he can't say anything technically. I was just like, you just be a pedantic, man. But there you go. There's so many of those people that, like, there's that old school. I say there's so many. There's really not. They're dying out. COVID will get them. Be fine.
When did the violin? Speaking of insurance, do you have to insure your hands?
Well,
can you insure your hands?
Yeah, I've never looked into that. But I'm not.
Or your chin.
There's nothing. Not. Luckily, the beard's that long; they'll miss it. But no. Right, we have public liability insurance, so that obviously, if an accident happens, like we're playing a gig and somebody walks into our speaker and the speaker falls and hits them, we're covered. But that it also covers us in accidents to a certain value. So there's like, what our liability insurance is. It, like, I think if I was to break my arm, I could get a payout of, like, I don't know, it's like 20 grand or something like that, because it would technically, that would cover my loss of earnings, because having a broken arm, I think it's something my accountant actually did it. I don't actually know, but yeah, insuring my hand. I don't know, because you hear about footballers getting their legs insured and stuff like that. So, but then there's obviously millions of investment that go into these people. Where with me, it's just like, here, play wagon wheel.
Hold on now, as a representative of fucking Beardy McBeard face, you have to, you got to look after those paws. Like, when did it? Tell me this. So, how do you come about with because violin? If I'm not mistaken, like obviously it's been around forever, and there you regard the masters. But it got kind of sexy back in the 90s a bit, didn't it? With your man with the spiky hair. What was his name? Nigel
Kennedy. I don't think sexy is the right word.
No, but he kind of mainstream. You know what I mean? Mainstream, yeah. But and then that Asian lady as well. She with the Vanessa May. She made it sexy. In fairness, like dancing around with it and all the rest of it.
Very sexy. Yeah, it was weird. It went through a weird. Was it Renaissance? Is that what they call
it? Sounds fucking right anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. I think like during the 90s, just in all types of music, there was a lot of crazy shit happening. Nigel Kennedy was right. Nigel Kennedy comes from a really, really rich family. He's really posh, and his teacher was Yehudi Menuhin, who's considered by many to be the greatest violinist of all time. He's not. He's not at all. But he was a child prodigy and was incredible, absolutely amazing. The thing with all child prodigies, they become amazing from the age of 5. When they're 5, they can play everything, but then they don't get any better. So you just end up spending the next 50 years of your life just being at that level and trying to be at that level. But what he did was he tried to be alternative. He tried to get noticed. So he would turn up to play concerts in an Aston Villa shirt because he was an Aston Villa fan. So instead of everybody's in tails, and he would try, and then he got a crazy haircut and shit like that there. So people were like, "Oh my god, he's so alternative. We love him." You're like, "Yeah, he's all right." Like, there's much better players out there, but here, good luck to you, mate. You make your money. So, I think it kind of went through that, and then there was I think it was a string quartet called Bond, who were these. I think they were Australian, and there were 4 smoking hot women and 4 very good musicians. And then they had a bit of success for about a year. But then, it just kind of falls to the wayside. It's one of those, it was a flash in the pan, I feel. Trying to get that classical.
But your man has made some serious 20. Is it Andrew Rio? He does.
Andrew Rio,
but he brings everything in, doesn't he? He's Q-tour, like he brings everybody in. He has the whole fucking town and everything. He's like, I want all your money. Even if you can't come in the venue, I want your money outside as well.
But the thing is, there's a lot of people. Do you know what it's like? I don't know about you, but I've learned over time that whenever I get into a taxi, not to tell people what I do for a living.
Yeah, never, ever.
Because I suppose when you get into a taxi, you're a comedian. Here, do you want to hear this one? But because when I get into a taxi, now if I happen to have my violin on me, I can't lie. If I say it's a gun, I'm in Belfast. I don't know. But with the violin, so I don't say I'm a musician because that always happens. So what do you play? Violin. Here, your man Andre Root. Do you know what it's like? It's like when people go, Michael McIntyre. It's like that. He's good at what he does, but he's for that audience, tailored audience. It's not for me. I can't play the way he plays, and I don't want to play the way he plays. Go do your thing, mate. Stay true to yourself. I'm still a mercenary at the end of the day. But
when did you grab the violin then? What, that's your first go-to, or did you go, fuck it, let's give the drums? No, hate the drums.
No,
give us a go at that.
I started playing violin when I was 8. Classically trained. Did the usuals, symphony orchestras, exams, competitions, aspirations of the Royal Academy of Music in London. And then when I was 17, going into my last year at school, basically, I don't know what it's like down south when you apply for uni, but up here it's UCAS, or at least it was UCAS, I can't remember, where you had to fill out your, whatever place you wanted to go.
Yeah, the same bullshit. Like you're supposed to choose at 17 what you want to do for the rest of your life. Yeah.
So all I did was all my options were music colleges. I just went and applied for auditions for all of them. And that was before the summer. This is so long ago. But then I noticed I had a real bad pain in my left wrist, stabbing pain. So when I would be playing, after 10 minutes of playing, why is this hurting so much? So you got a wee touch of tendonitis.
Ooh.
I was like, right, okay. So I was like, right, okay, what do I do to cure it? He says, hey, auditions. I have like my A levels, my main A level I needed to get was music, which is like 30% performance and stuff. I was like, no, I can't like just not pay. So basically the audition things never happened for me college, and I levels went and did a degree. 2 weeks in, I went, this is a lot of crap. But I did it over in England. What does every Irishman do when he goes to England? Gets a job in a pub.
There you go.
That's what I did. The stereotypical. I couldn't pull a pint. I was just there to give it legitimacy. And then so I basically took a 12-year gap. I just didn't play I maybe picked the violin up maybe twice.
What?
Over those 12 years. Yeah, and then I moved back to Belfast, met a girl, fell in love. Well, we didn't really. But she had an uncle who had a violin, and I was in his house, and he couldn't play it anymore because it needed some work done. Not like major work, but enough. And I knew how to fix it.
Right. And
I was like, "Oh, here, do you want me to fix it?" And he was like, "Oh, how would you?" And I was like, "Well, I used to play." So I took the violin, fixed it up for him, and then tried to play it, but like there was the fingers, nothing was working. But I was like, all right, if I have a day or two with this, I might be able to remember stuff. So he said, here, take a lead of it for a week. So I did, and then I ended up going and buying my own, put a video up on YouTube just of me farting about. Some guy saw it, and he was putting together like a Horselips type band up here in Belfast.
Right.
But he didn't want a lead guitarist. He wanted he seen my video, and he was like, because you're classical, he's like, I think you have the ability to play like a lead guitarist, but you're on a violin. So joined them, played with them for a few years, did an album, never really got any work because, well, the artistic differences and stuff. Left them, left them, got buried in the hospitality, as I had been for many years. And then about 3.5 years ago, was my dad's 65th birthday, so organised a surprise party for him at the restaurant that I was a manager at. Not the manager, one off. I shouldn't take all the glory. And Gavin, who is in the String Ninjas, he was just like he is an amazing fingerstyle guitarist. He would just do like background events, like little sort of atmospheric music and stuff. So I was like, oh, and my dad liked them. I was like, come on, do you want to? I'll pay you, and you sit in the corner while we're having dinner and play some nice music. And then I brought my violin with me. Then we jammed. So I paid Gavin to play for 3 hours, and I jammed him for 2. I was like, no one's paying me. But so when we jammed, we were like, there's something here. There seems to be chemistry. So yeah, the rest is really history there. And then Gavin introduced me to effects pedals because I had I had all this classical knowledge, but I didn't really have the the
tech side of it either, I suppose.
Yeah. But because I couldn't play to the standard I used to play at, the standard I play at now, like technically, is nowhere near what it was when I was studying properly. But that goes without saying, because 5 hours, 6 hours a day playing in 2 different orchestras, and it was literally, it was like, other kids play football and stuff like that there, and they were really, really good. And then you get to see a guy in his 30s who decides to play football, and it's that kind of way, there was certainly a drop in standard. But then Gavin introduced me to effects pedals and electronics and things like that there. And I was like, oh, so I can make my violin sound not like a violin. And then the String Ninjas were really formed. So that's why a lot of the stuff that we would play is like 90s dance music. And think, you look at us when we turn up to gigs, people go, oh, it's a wee folk group.
Yeah.
But Gavin plays his guitar. But it is true.
I love the notion that you start off with this, like Finnegan's Wake, and all of a sudden you bust into fucking Beach Ball by fucking, Cafe Del Mar or something. Fucking amazing.
Oh, mate. I know. It's like Gavin plays his guitar like a set of Avicii decks. You know what I mean? And then I just turn all my pedals on, and then it's all this Hendrix shit shredding. And people are just like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, yep, this is what we do. And it's been really successful for us. I mean, pre-pandemic, we were just steadily. It was just all our whole summer was going to be booked up with music festivals. We applied to Glastonbury. We didn't hear if we did or didn't get it, and I'm really glad we didn't hear because it would have broke my heart if I'd found out we got Glastonbury. But yeah, so there you go. That's basically the String Ninjas in a nutshell. It's very hard to describe what we do. I mean, we do our best to get stuff recorded and posted online, but it's seeing it live is better. And unfortunately, the way things are, it's just you just can't see us live really anywhere. Like we're doing the occasional bar gig or something like that, but our main places that we would have played at aren't doing any entertainment at the moment. It's just
and I've never gotten to see you live. Just seeing your stuff online and the time you like, because I remember we got now like that they were kind of an alternative brass band. I don't know where herself found them or how they came about, but they were a gas bunch of bastards anyway. And they played at the wedding, but I remember they attempted to play because I had a wedding car as well. My wedding car was the A-Team van.
You legend.
I swear to God.
Nothing less.
But what was weird was the guy showed up and he was full in the moment. I was like, no, the van is enough. The van is enough. But this guy was he was a Canadian guy. He was bigger than you. He was maybe 6'3" and fucking unit. But he wore the dungarees, the red t-shirt, all the chains, and I went, that's enough. No, on with the black mask. I went, dude.
Oh, bro.
But you know what? He wasn't taking it off. He was like, it's the full experience. Okay, I went, all right, okay. And we drove, because it's like a 25-minute drive to the hotel, and he drove through all these villages and towns with his head out the window, just shut up, fool. It was one of the most amazing. The lads, and we'd all left our phones behind because we said, fuck, we'll only, no needing phones, but I'm actually bulling that I didn't record that moment because you see old ones going, is he blackface going through it? And he just shouting at people. But we tried to get the band, you knew they were making it up on the fly and they didn't have the speed on them to do the A-Team tune, that kind of way. And then I said it to you on I don't know, Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and you're like, man, I've already done it. Check it out. And you sent me on the link. It was glass. Because
it's savage, like.
Because I've seen like your 90s dance stuff is fucking amazing. Actually, do you know what? Every time you played out, because that went live on YouTube as well on the what was it, Get Vocal on the Sunday nights. Every time, regardless. Their YouTube is something else. They were able to pick up every time you did it because we got pulled every time you played.
Balls.
Every time.
No wonder I wasn't invited back. I thought it would have been something I said. Who's this musician trying to be a comedian? Fucking hell.
Hey, listen, you'll do a fucking better job than most of them anyway. It's all right. Have you got the violin? Have you got it near you?
I haven't got any... What, to play something?
Yeah, only if you had. No, it just popped into my head.
I haven't got any equipment to plug it into.
Aha.
Yeah, it's like an electric guitar. When it's not plugged in, it doesn't do anything.
That's gas, isn't it?
That's the whole thing. So like with a normal violin, with it being a full body and there's just the two little sound holes, the sound is made inside it and then it's projected out. Of
course,
but my violin has no body, it's just a shell. But it's got an electric pickup, like an electric guitar would. It's the same thing. I use a jack and all, goes into the pedal board and into the desk and then the speaker, and that's where the sound all comes from. So it's like I could hold it here and you could hear something come out of it, but it's crap.
It's fine. I'll put a link in the bio anyway to all your whatchamacallits. Because as far as comedians, I always ask them like, where's the weirdest? Because comedy gets booked in the weirdest shit in places, and because you were absolutely flying it 5-6 nights a week. Come on, give me some juicy shit. Where did the String Ninjas end up that you were going, man? We've no fucking business being here. Like, is it a fair enough? Like, are you lucky enough to people go, I know where we'll book ye? You know what I mean? And it will work. Are you more luckier that way?
Well, do you know what, man? It's a bit of both. Generally speaking, when people book us out of the blue that we've never heard of, we always say, have you seen us? And if they go yes, then we're like, right, we'll take it off faith. There was one place in particular that we played in, and it was in Downpatrick. And it was the day of the All-Ireland final, right? And now, you may or may not know this, but there's no Irish music in the String Ninjas repertoire.
Right.
It just isn't. I can't play trad. It's a genre I just can't. I haven't got the ability to do it. I can do loads of other great stuff, but I just can't do trad. So, and then also as well, whenever we were starting to put our set together, we were like, in Belfast, at least 3 times a day in any bar, there's going to be a session on. So you're like, it gets a wee bit samey. So we like to provide something different, you know. That's how we ended up getting like gigs with HBO and stuff like that there, because we can do all that Game of Thrones stuff. But so we turned up to do this gig. The day I walked in, I was like, Jesus Christ, man! Like people have social anxiety post-COVID. I'm like, I'm gonna get murdered because I'm not shy of telling somebody to do one, or if they get too close, you know, we're trying to grab the microphone. I'm like, you know, get away, because you shouldn't be doing that anyway. It does my boxing, and man, we had 2 hours of here. Would you play somebody Nick Toes? It's not out, you know, did you? Here, would you play the man behind the wire? Would you? And I'm going. You see, you Highlands, right? I'm from Ardoyne, right? I grew up literally
behind the wire. You grew up behind the wire.
You went to the Coopers, had your I was. And do you want to hear a Mozart violinng concerto? I could do that, like. And so it was 2 hours of like, we were meant to take a break in the middle and stuff. And I said to Gavin, just keep your head down and just keep playing. We're not going to, because nobody was clapping. Like, there was no applause. There must have been about 200 people in this place, and just nobody clapped once.
Dead between songs, like.
Ate shit. When we finished playing, to talk to us, and I just kept my head down, started wrapping stuff up and threw it in the car, and I said, Gavin, the engine's running, I'm getting out of here, mate, because it was banned the country. I can't not remember, like, the girl who booked us owned the bar, and she was really lovely. She'd seen us play at a music festival.
Yeah.
I came up to us at the music festival, and she was like, and now, to be fair, we absolutely nuked the place. It was amazing, one of the best nights ever. And still to this day, like, people talk to us about it. But that was a music festival.
Yeah.
Music festivals, people are there with a specific goal and they enjoy the entertainment and so on. You know, it's a different vibe. And then, yeah, that did not work at all. It was really, it was difficult. So now we were able to afford to be a wee bit choosier. But, you know, it's the weddings that we enjoy doing. But then we want to do our own stuff, do the theatre gigs. Like, we put on a show there last year at the Crescent Arts.
Oh, yeah.
In Belfast. I don't know if you've ever... Yeah, lovely theatre.
Yeah.
We did, the show was called Synesthesia. Synesthesia, I think what it means is when you see a colour, it makes you feel like a certain emotion, or you can the colour or something. It's something to do with colours and sounds. It's making... We basically took a load of famous TV shows, cut the soundtrack out of them, projected them onto a screen, and then did our own originals over the top of them. So to evoke like a different emotion. And then we did an improv and Nosferatu to go on the project, and then we just like a soundtrack and Nosferatu. And at the end of the show, we were like, that is so unique. We would love to see it. And then it was just one of those things. We just started getting busier, and it's hard to set us when you're gigging 4 nights a week. It's hard to set aside. Like, Gavin's married with 2 kids. You know, I'm not, but it's one of those things. It's like there's 2 of us. I mean, it's 2 of us need to be together to do work, and also if you're gigging 4 nights a week, I don't want to see you don't want to see each other the earth 3 nights a week.
Of course, I know. Yeah.
So just work. So work kept getting. We was like, we'll get to it. You try, and then next thing you know, Christmas comes, and then pandemic comes, and so yeah, it's been stifled, but like, we're not sitting on our laurels. We just spent a fucking load of money that we didn't have on a load of recording equipment. We're actually starting up a podcast soon, because apparently we're funnier than we are good musicians. But then I know that Dave Chappelle quote, all comedians wish they were musicians and all musicians think they're funny. That's definitely applicable in our case.
Oh, I'm absolutely
So we're going to do
jealous.
the Patreon thing. I was going to say, no, we're going to do the Patreon thing, because OnlyFans, apparently there's no niche market for fat bearded musicians. So
go topless. It's fine.
Do you want to see what's under here, Tom? You don't. So it's you know. But it's one of those things where I think, like everybody else who's creative in any way, we're like shit's happened. Let's figure out a way to make money out of it. You know, because it's that you know, bills to pay and shit like that. So we're still hopeful for the future. Hopefully, the thing is, they just want the government to get their act together and go right. You can go back to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's no point in this bullshit 50% off food and then complaining that everybody's getting sick. But you know.
It was, I mean, like we said, if they could come up with proper fucking guidelines and go, as per venue, this is what you were allowed, you know. But it's funny you say Downpatrick. The only memory I have of Downpatrick was playing, I think I was opening for Delamere or somebody, but it was the fucking weirdest vibe. It was up in an old hospital, a fucking disused mental hospital. And we were, it was up on a hill, like where an oldie hospital would be on the outskirts of the town. And it was what would have been their mess hall / assembly hall for the poor old mental patients back in the fucking day. But just, they'd done their best to make it a theatre, but you could still pick up on the vibes, if you know what I mean. Like, fucking, my opening bit about seeing teeth marks on bars on the window probably didn't go down too fucking great either. But... it was. I had to say something, man.
Jesus, if in doubt, bring out the almond routine.
Yeah. But do you know what? Like, but I remember even the vibe in there was fucking weird. Like a load of owl ones with like coats still closed up like this, and like the stage as well. Because for comedy, a giant stage doesn't work. And, you know, as you know, like if people are looking straight up, you know, it just. Unless it's a fucking unbelievably big room. And I just remember thinking, what the fuck is wrong with Downpatrick? Like, I know this room is strange and all the rest, but what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like,
I know, those country towns. I think Downpatrick people just... That story, couple. And one of them, very attractive blonde lady, kept smiling throughout the whole night, and they come up at the end, eventually when I packed the car, to say hello. And I was like, "Oh, hey, you were brilliant." And I was like, "Oh, thanks very much." She was like, "Do you not remember me?" And I was like, and I'm looking at her husband going, "No, I don't." She was like, "Oh, I'm Lorraine's daughter." And I was like, "Who?" "You know, your daddy's niece, your cousin. I'm her daughter. My dad's the youngest of 9. So I have cousins who are like in their 60s.
Yeah.
So this girl was my second cousin, and I thought she was giving me the eye all night. And I was like, Jesus Christ, really stunning girl. And I was like, but I don't think I ever met her like as an adult. Maybe met each other when we were kids. Oh. She's my second cousin, but the same age as me. I was going, all right, okay, nice to meet you. We have to your husband, get in the car, get me out of here before I get murdered.
Oh, there's so many things wrong with that moment, isn't there? Like, you're going, you're there with your fella, and then, you're my cousin. Fucking, love.
But it's that Catholic thing, breeding like rabbits. It's very true. You know, like, what's the Catholic version of contraception? Sex standing up. You know,
it was weird, because I remember it being even in primary school. Now, I went to a real fucking rural primary school, but it was, like, our family were small. People were going, so how many uncles do you have? I was like, 3 in total. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was 3. How many aunts? It was like, and like there was a family quite literally half mile over the road, and there had been 17 children. You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? 17 fucking children.
By that stage, it's just throwing a sausage down an alleyway.
Man. I mean, how many, like, by the time you're on number 12, like, does she even bother telling the husband? Is it like, yeah, I think, yeah.
Isn't like, you know, I maybe need to ask a gynecologist this one, but how does it stick after that many? Do you know what I mean?
Apparently, that's fantastic elasticity. I don't know. It's
Oh, Christ. Oh, God. I can't believe I just said that. Oh.
There is, like, I mean... But I don't even fucking know, man, how people, or what way they went about it. Like, we've one kid, And now he does have obviously my genes, so he's a fucking Tasmanian devil, like ridiculous. Plows everything down. Like he started walking maybe
Is he walking?
Oh yeah, like he started walking like 2 months ago. So now he's going at full tilt, like full tilt. Blasts over chairs, blasts over everything. The dog gets the shit fucking thrown out of her out the fucking door. And I'm going, how? Because it's been put to us now immediately. As soon as one child was like, oh, there might be a couple of more. It's like, how the fuck did people... Oh, it gets easier. I was like, but no, you don't understand. They're like, no, they don't need that much minding. I'm like, no, this fucker, if he gets another junior relative to him,
he'll eat them.
He will eat them, and he will burn the house to the ground, and he'll have like... He's literally a year away from taking the car. He's there already. Like,
mate.
Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. But I can't fathom how people have a few. I just don't know how people have it.
Yeah. It's funny. Like every time I see, it's funny. I'm the only childless person in my group of friends. And it's like, if I ever say I'm tired, I always get met with, you don't know what tired is.
Yeah.
You haven't been dad tired.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, come on, give me I hate this. Like, I think, do you have kids? But you have no opinion. I remember, it's a true story, right? So before I was a musician, I've been a musician like full time for 2.5 years.
Right.
I was in hospitality for a long time. Restaurant I worked in before. I remember a family in, and the kids were running about. Now this restaurant was it wasn't a posh restaurant, but it was a nice restaurant. So there was a lot of money about, kind of a thing, but it wasn't too pompous or anything like that. And I'm coming out of the kitchen and I'm carrying little plates, and the kids are fucking running about, and I'm like, sorry, could you get the kids to have a seat, please? And I'm sorry about that. And then later on, it happened again, and I was like, sorry, madam, any chance? It's just not safe for the kids running about, hot plates and drinks and this, that, and the other. And also, I don't know if you've ever carried a tray, but
I used to work in a hotel.
You can't see through that tray, and there's these little sprogs at your knees. And so I said to the mother, I was like, "Madam, I'm gonna have to insist that you keep the kids at their seats." And she said, "I'll try." And I went, "You'll try?" And she went, "What?" I says, "You're the adult. You tell them." Because when I was a kid, I never got hit once as a kid because I knew that it was a serious threat. So I was like, I don't want to get hit. No, I'll do what I'm told. I was like, no, you're the adult. You tell them to sit. And she said, do you have kids? And I went, no. She said, well, you don't understand. And I was like, that's all right. He's going to get a knee. He's going to get a knee to the face.
Yeah, because those are the consequences.
Fault, you know what I mean?
Those are the consequences. Yeah. Well, that's the policy that we're standing over to. And you should see, we had him out today or whatever, and he turns into this angelic, oh, hello. Like, to be fair, he's just, all it is that he's just bounced with energy. That's all it is.
Is he Kenneth Williams?
But yeah, I know. But you should see him. He turns into this almost camp, good afternoon, madam. He's just lewd, but he almost knows too. But even his grandmother was over the other day, and he wasn't digging whatever grub. Now, he'd normally eat anything. He wasn't digging the grub, only because he was acting a maggot. And she's like, oh, will I get him something else? I went, no, because he'll go fucking hungry until he eats that. And you could see her looking at him. Thank God my wife has me back. She's like, no, he'll fucking eat it. He'll fucking eat it, all right, because we're the adults here.
100%.
But like, as far as...
Let me say something that I've noticed being an uncle. Because I am an uncle to 2 boys and 1 girl. And the thing I have noticed is that I remember how I was raised as a child. And I remember how my parents looked after all of us. And see, what you're saying is exactly what they would have done. But when you become a grandparent, no.
Oh yeah.
It's like literally give them everything they want because I love them. Is that weird relationship between a grandparent and a grandchild that's very different between a parent and a child? It's a very different relationship. It's like being an aunt or an uncle, but it's blood. It's like really, you're literally, there's part of me. There's part of me in you, kind of a thing. Even though obviously aunt and uncle blood, but there's like a real, it's a very. I've noticed that over the last sort of 5 years of my siblings having kids and like my friends having kids, I've noticed that. So, yeah, so you I think you're going to his grandmother going, here, it's my kid.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they'll eat what they're given. But that's the whole thing. It's like I actually remember like years ago, when my sister was trying to get one of her sons in like a sleeping pattern, and he would be crying, and she would sit in the next room and not go into him. But my mum would be going, "Oh, that's breaking my heart. I have to go in and see him." And my sister's like, "Nope, let him cry. It's not a real. He's just throwing a tantrum. Nope, he'll learn." So it's weird, like how parenting changes whenever you become a grandparent. I think.
As far as the tired thing doesn't last. Well, we're very fucking lucky. Like, I mean, I can't be smug. I've come across accidentally smug a few times because people go, "Oh my god, it's a new different type of tiredness," and I'm like, yeah, sure. What? Yeah, absolutely. Or like goes up to bed at 6 on the button, and he will not pipe up until 7 tomorrow morning.
Jesus,
yeah.
Jesus, it's that country air, man. It's just not sure.
I don't know. Well, you see, he's active all day.
Yeah.
You see, I think this has kind of been the joy of COVID and the positivity of COVID. We've been around, so it's like you stick him in the little fucking walker thing or the tractor thing, or you roll a ball at him. You're keeping him busy, and without planking him in front of your laptop or your iPad, you're going, I have time now to fuck around with him.
Yeah.
So I actually accidentally came out with it, but then some kids just aren't like that. Like I came out with it today on a Zoom meeting. They were going, "So how are all the new parents here?" Because it was like these gang of actors, and I was like, "I'm fine. I'm actually really fine." Forgetting myself altogether that there was 2 women glaring at me across the Zoom fucking screen, going, "Oh fucking really? Are you? Are you fucking fine?" I was like, "Actually, yeah, fuck you bitches. I am absolutely fine. My child isn't a dose like yours."
Yeah.
It's a funny one. But the idea, I fucking love the idea of the String Ninjas because, and I didn't grow up in a music-y house, but I remember, do you ever kind of get one of those fucking moments of bolt of lightning that hits you, go, "This is fucking class. I've never experienced this before." I must have been like 25, 26, and I was at this house party, and he's a real alternative guy. This guy that he throws these fucking epic house parties. And he lives near Kinsale, where a lot of bohemian people tend to live, and musicians find themselves just wafting in the wind down to this fucking place, like, you know. And he has this badass fucking house that he's basically gutted it to make it a fucking music venue. There's a kitchen and there's a bedroom. Yeah. Everything else is a music venue. But he had the Spanish guitars, a violinist, and this guy playing the steel drums from fucking West Indies, and he'd like 2 or 3 other bizarre that you would not put them together. Next thing, they started jamming. Within about half an hour, because they literally, a couple of lads had just come off a plane and just thumbed their way down to fucking Cork. But within about half an hour, they all fell in sync. It was that moment. It was like, "Oh fucking hell, this is me!" Like this, yeah. This is the music I wanted to fucking hear. And there was lads busting fucking strings on the fucking, you know what I mean? There was people, they were ripping into it, like it was this euphoric thing came over everybody in the house. It was like, this is the shit, like, you know?
Yeah. It's an international language, you know. If you've got the ability, you can literally play with anybody, and that's it. It just fits.
Yeah. Have you gigged abroad much? Because you would fly in Europe, like you would absolutely fly in Europe. Barcelona,
yeah, I think
my Jesus.
Well, again, Tom, that was the thing. Like, the year was going so well. Like, everybody else is like, I remember, like, I was too scared to add up the money that we didn't make. Like, I got a recording contract with a band to do studio session work for a new album. 2 weeks. Like, I didn't sign a contract. 2 weeks before everything locked down, the producer said to me, "Oh, by the way, I did a single for this band that had strings for them, and they were like, they love what you did. They want to use you. They love that sound of the whole album." And I was like, "Oh, happy days! I need a new car. That'll literally buy me a brand new car."
Wow.
And things like that there. So we had basically already we had decided that early next year we were going to take the summer and basically try and go and do the Fringe and things like that. And then early next year, we were like, right, okay, let's set aside 2 weeks or something like that and go, right, let's pick somewhere to go. And like New York was a place we were thinking about going. Mainland Europe maybe as well. Just like, because the thing is, I go to Germany about twice a year. So I was like, well, I know people and I can get as a gig here and there kind of a thing. But again, it's one of the, I think it's on hold. It's at least 18 months, I say, before things are really back on track again. So, but we'll be. The thing is, I'm like, I want to play on like a show like Jules Holland, later live with Jules Holland. I think that's where we should be.
Yeah,
on that kind of a thing, because it's so different. It's like, you know, our originals are mental, and then our covers are equally as mental. You know, like we played, one of our more popular tunes is "Push the Button" by the Sugar Babes. I mean, like, there's so much wrong. There's so much wrong with that. Like, with the way we look, but the thing is, it's such a, when you listen to, you break the track down, you're like, yeah, that's actually, it's got a pretty good groove. And every place we play it in, it's always the lads who are singing it. You're like, see, it's, you all love the Sugar Babes. And to be fair to Gavin, that was his thing. And I remember we were playing it one night, and I was like, and the place went nuts after we finished playing it. And I was like, if my violin teacher could see me now, he'd be going, what the hell have you done with yourself? And Gavin was like, well, be fair, you're making money now and you weren't then. So I was like, I suppose, yeah. Because being a classical musician, literally, it's a dead end. There's a small percentage of people who ever really, really make it. If the best you can hope for is being an orchestral player. Like Vittorio Angeloni, he was going to be a professional orchestral player, and I think he was like, this is bullshit, because it's the same repertoire you're playing over and over again, plus the whole world of classical music's very pompous and snobbish. So he was like, no, I think I prefer stand-up comedy. So
yeah, I've worked on a couple of different things with lads who had worked in opera and stuff like that, and it's, by all accounts, it's the same way. You know, they have their own near language, the way they speak to each other. So what the fuck?
Totally, man. Even in school, I got very disenchanted with it, because I was like, Wednesday night's always Champions League night, so I come in on a Thursday morning and go to the music department at school and be like, hey, did you see the United match last night or whatever? And they were like, no, we're sitting here breaking down Bruckner's Fourth Symphony. And you're going, oh, come on. And the thing is, these were the guys who were getting laid. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? So it's a weird world of the language that they have, and there's a lot of snobbery, and people do, especially classical people. There's a lot of that where they just think they're better, and it's like, there's a lot more out there. There's a lot, because I've become a better musician since I stepped away from it. I was a better violinist back then, but I'm a better musician now, because you try other things, you play with other people, different styles, you learn from everybody. That's what you do. If you go through life as a soloist, you don't really learn anything.
Or playing the same repertoire.
I mean, I got a wedding I did last week or 2 weeks ago in the church. It was with the guy who I'd never played with before, but he was recommended me because I'd done an album for another fella, and this guy's like, oh, I need a violinist, and this guy's like, oh, Mick's really good, get him. But the guy just thought I was going to be like a folk player. He didn't know who he was getting. And then when I showed up, like, he had given me sheet music to read from, because it was all his own original compositions and stuff like that there. He was like, you know what, mate, throw the music away, do what you want. And we just made it all up as the wedding went through. He had the crux of it, but I was like, I'll just fart about here, make it all pretty. And that's what you do. You benefit from learning from other people. It's the same as like even with comedy. Like if you only stayed down south,
forget about it.
Comedy would not be where that's the thing. You come up I know why you come to Belfast.
Yeah,
it's because the lads are all outstanding and the crack's brilliant, and you learn and you see different people do different things and go, oh, actually, do you know what? Yeah, that may work if I not a joke, but a certain technique.
Oh, stop! The way you lean into things too. I've definitely gotten bolder anyway, because I've seen the stuff that the lads come out with and gone, oh, okay, I can release my psycho so a bit more, because okay, great. Do you know what, Mick?
I seen. You go ahead.
No, sorry, go on. Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing.
No, I was just going to say it. No, I was just going to say, basically, when I went to Geddes' thing at the Limelight last week, it's like I'd seen Geordie Robinson. I've seen that set so many times, but I'd never seen it in front of a big room. And he murdered. because it's like it almost
Brilliant.
feels like his type of comedy was. I was just like, because everyone's a bit more comfortable. It's that whole, because he's obviously going for the shock factor. There's a lot of people who maybe laugh at a joke and they go, "Oh, that's a bit harsh." And like, well, you laughed first, so that's your honest reaction.
Yeah.
But when you've got a bigger room, like there's 200 people in the room probably, and it was like I was like that's where he belonged, in front of that big audience, because audience members are a bit more comfortable, I think. And I was like, oh yeah. That's because you're saying about being bolder. I was like, yeah, that's just Geordie stuff, because Geordie stuff's really bold and really, people would say, oh, so that's a bit close to the bone. Like jokes about things that apparently you shouldn't joke about. You can joke about anything. It just depends on what your target is, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it just needs to be fucking funny. That's the simple thing. You can joke about anything.
Funny.
So are they allowing it? Because I didn't even ask him that. He just went, "Are you free?" And I went, Tom's diary. Yep. He just went, "How does the limelight suit you?" And then we just started talking about other shit. And I never at any point went, "So how many people do they allow in?" So you reckon they're allowing about 200?
I reckon. No, because, well, you know that big room in the limelight is easy. About 700-800 people they can get in that place. But the thing is, so what they've done is like it's literally, it is, you can swing a cat around each table. Like, you're not on anybody. Tickets are 2s, 4s, 6s, or 8s. Then there's pizza included, because there has to be food.
Mm-hmm.
Table service, like every table gets like a wee QR code, and then you just scan it on your phone and just put your table number in and type in what you want. It gets brought down. I had a brilliant night. It was all indoors. No, I have no qualms about it. I thought it was done as well as it could be done. They literally ticked every single box.
That's
yeah,
brilliant.
If that is the future of the way stand-up's going to be done for like the next 6 months or so, I don't have a problem with that. The only problem is that because it has to be 2s, 4s, and there's none of this just 1s coming by themselves or whatever. It's like, actually, was there even tables of 2? Actually, maybe just 4, 6s, and 8s. But like when you told me, like, you know, I'm a big fan of stand-up scene up here, and I would often go. I used to go. I'd go to Pugs on a Thursday, try and get the Laveries on a Wednesday, the Sunflower on a Sunday. Like sometimes 3-4 nights a week, I was going out to a stand-up show. But I would do it myself. Like, I'd maybe get home from a gig, I'd finish the wedding at 7 o'clock, and I'd be like, all my friends, as I say, are all usually putting the kids to bed and they've normal jobs and what have you. So I'd be like, I'm going out to watch the comedy. And the thing is, people, why do you go to a comedy club by yourself? I'm like, well, I'm not there to talk to people.
Yeah, no, it's the perfect place
to go. That's rude for a start.
Perfect place
to go. You know what I mean? I just go and sit. And so then I obviously started to get a bit of a reputation amongst the lads, going, fucking Mick Conlon, the stalker of Irish comedy. That was Dave Elliott, give me that moniker. But I was like, well, the thing about it is like, it's an art form I can't do, and I really love it. Like I can go watch a music gig, but there's a certain point where I'm just like, well, I kind of know the tricks.
Yeah.
I know the I might not be able to play the piano like that, but I can play a bit of piano, and I know how, you know, there's the wow factor sometimes is gone, but with comedy, I can't do it. I can't stand in front of a room full of people and do that, and I have no aspirations to do it. But I love people who do it. And like, I think of comedians as like rock stars. They're my favorite people to watch perform, because it's the hardest thing in the world to do. And like I could see a set, and that's the thing as well. Like I saw Mickey's last show. I think Mickey said to me, I'd seen it 5 times, but I'd seen him workshop it twice. Then I saw him do a warm up for the Fringe, and then I saw him come back from the Fringe, and then I saw the Ulster Hall show. But I saw the jokes go from being what they were to the finished product, and I'd be really nerdy. I enjoyed that process of like,
yeah, of course,
how you take a bit, and also a different room has a different energy, and then you then have a different energy and stuff, you know. So that's why that's the only thing that would annoy me if comedy clubs were, it was like, it has to be, I understand that, you know, track and trace, and like they'd rather have a table of 4 than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't want more friends. Friends cost money. I
know what you're saying.
Go watch comedy, because, you know.
I wonder, will it go? Because I remember and it was myself and Geddes were talking about it, that it'd be kind of a cool thing to do, to try, would be, instead of just a straight comedy club. And this is long before any pandemics. We were talking about doing like almost old school cabaret style, nice tables, food and drink, music, comedy.
Yes.
And fuck, if there's, you know, a couple of badass fucking breakdancers or something, stick them in there too, you know, just to try 100%. And do something different, you know, and make a night, and have people not just there for the hour and 45, have people there for 3 fucking hours if they want. You know what I mean? Make a fucking night of it, like once a month.
Yeah, 'cause that was something that me and Gavin had said about, because we would go to the live shows all the time, and a fair play to get us and stuff like that there. If he ever see us, he'd be like, here, he will like stick us on the guest list and stuff like that there, or like he'd be like, here, come on upstairs, we have a few beers with us in the green room and stuff, you know. Always looked after. We were like, yeah, if we could ever get involved in so we always thought a cabaret, that's something missing.
Yeah,
that modern but alternative cabaret. And I was like, I should really be the perfect band for that as well.
Yeah.
Because we're so mental, like, you know. But here, that's what it is. But maybe now is that time to do it. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I think our hand has been forced.
It's just the thing is, with so much red tape, though.
Oh well, I'm amazed because that they're allowing that number in, because, like I said, I was.
No, I don't know. That's the number. Sorry.
Well, it was more
speaking out of turn.
It was more than 50 people anyway, was it?
Fuck, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, so at the moment when you're looking at theatres the size of the board, gosh, and they're going 50 people, you're like, can you just have a look at the fucking actual venue and not just hand us the paper you handed it to the International Comedy Club up the road that only holds 50 people anyway? Can you just...
I know.
They won't move. But you know what I was thinking? The perfect... You were saying Jules Holland, and I know the likes of C6 Steve and everyone got his bounce. I would be... Right, stick with me. You're going to hate this at the beginning, right? But I think we can do something with this. We get you in...
You heard it here first.
In full Mad Max fucking top to bottom fucking apocalyptic gear to symbolize what we've come through. And then, and then we put you in the Eurovision and shock the fucking bejesus out of everybody. And you, like, we're talking sparks and flamethrowers out the end of your fucking violin every time you hit every time.
Mate.
And you fucking out the end of his guitar, he has fucking, what can we put it? Yeah, more fucking flames. And you just bust the two of them together at the very end and just fucking walk. And then we chopper you out of the fucking building for something ridiculously over the top that you didn't even want. But you do it ironically. We don't want to be here.
It would have to be the Airwolf. It would have to be the Airwolf theme tune. Because we've talked about doing that, because we already do the 18 thing, and then there's this thing. It sort of started to happen organically, because like Gavin would have maybe have his guitar in different tunings for different songs, so you don't want that dead air. So I would always fill the silence with like a theme tune of some sort, like Knight Rider or Doctor Who, Star Trek, or the Star Wars things and shit. And the theme tunes thing just became a thing. And Airwolf is the one that we've always wanted to do, which is like we just never get round to learning it. But that would be awesome to do.
Yeah,
Airwolf into the national anthem. and not that Ireland's called bullshit, none of that.
Yeah, none of that fucking bullshit. Do you know what? It's a perfect fucking spot to fuck. That image will stick with me. I won't be happy until I see that image. It's a perfect spot to wrap up.
I'll get
the podcast.
Photoshop out and work on something.
Mick, where's the best place to follow the band? I'll put your social links, like the likes of your YouTube link and stuff like that, in the band the show notes. But where's the best place to follow you?
I would say Instagram or YouTube. Facebook's all right, but Zuckerberg always wants money.
Cunt. Yeah.
Yeah, and Twitter's dead. We're on all platforms. We are on Grindr too.
Hey.
Legit. No, because I used to joke to people. On this on stage, say, find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tinder, Grindr, Snapchat, Bebo, MySpace, Teletext, Extravision, that kind of thing. And it became like it's just a thing I would always say on stage. So then one day I was like, Gavin, I'm gonna create us a Grindr. But basically what it is, we want to swipe right on everybody, match with everyone, and then invite everyone to gigs and use it as a promotional tool. So then everybody, because whenever on Grindr, as I found out, because I use Tinder, and on Tinder it's just like, what are you looking for, men or women, and that's basically it. But on Grindr it's like, what are you looking for? Gangbangs, literally. It's all mad shit. Aye. And then it's like networking, and I went, well, we'll do networking. That's a good idea. We'll do that. And then I did it because I was like, we are trying to network. We're trying to promote our brand.
Who's networking in between gangbanging? Like, who's networking? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah,
it's gangbanging, not networking,
But the thing about it is like, I mean, the photo I made was probably a bad idea to go with this photo, because me and Gavin just look like a couple of bears, like grizzly. It was good,
gonna
like,
say
soft light. We looked the business. You know, it was just in, like, our shoulders are popping out of the shirts and stuff. And within 5 minutes, Tom, I deleted the app.
What?
Because
What happened?
the amount of DMs I was getting. Now, it was String Ninjas. That was the name on the account, String Ninjas. But I was on my phone, and I was like, I text Gavin. I was like, mate, I am not opening anything that comes into those DMs. I was just like, I swear to God, my phone blew up with people wanting to chat, and I was like, what?
Did they think it was going to be they were getting the two for one offer, like with the?
They could have, Tom. They could have, or maybe they were wanting to book us for their wedding, or maybe they just. Or maybe it literally was just dick pics, and I was like, I can't open this. So the profile's still active, but I deleted the app off my phone. So you can find us on Grindr if you want. Legit, man. Go Google.
I'm going fucking looking for that straight away. I'm going to send you just a stock footage of a dick. Mick Conlon, thank you very, very much. That's been beautiful.
Wait, no sweat.